My name is Jeremy Sturgis. I'm a senior tea and herb buyer. I've worked for Twinings for 23 years. I joined the company as a graduate trainee in 1990, and I've worked my whole career therefore with Twinings. I've bought tea from all around the world, with particular fond memories for India, both North India and South, but Darjeeling and Assam in the north, and high-grown tea in South India. And I'm currently involved in buying herbs and fruits. The herbs and fruits that Twinings buys can be from any origin in the world, and it's unlikely or unusual that they also come from similar origins as tea. Tea tends to be kind of specific sort of areas of the world, of defined tracts of land that are producing certain types of tea. Whereas the interesting thing for me buying herbs and fruits is that it spins you into different parts of the world. Last year I visited Sudan in East Africa, looking at a project we're running there. I visited South America in Paraguay to look at a lot of citrus peels, lemongrass, and some pilot growth of some hibiscus, etc. So you tend to get thrown out into different areas of the world, which makes my life quite interesting. Peppermint is a classical after dinner drink. It's good for stimulating the juices in your stomach to digest your food. It has this amazing, rich, creamy menthol character. And we're using here large crushed mint leaves, which give this fantastic rich aroma, combined with a little bit of citrus with the lemongrass that we've added to it as well. We've searched around the world looking for combinations of mint which work really well together, both in Central Europe and in places like the south of France, where again you get amazing intense sunshine, so you get really fertile soil combining with some great agroclimatic conditions to produce really intense flavours. That mint leaf is then picked and it's dried and then softly crushed, so you retain the essential oil content in the leaf, which is the thing that really drives out the really fantastic aroma that you get from the peppermint leaf. So peppermint in the northern hemisphere would grow through the summer months, and bearing in mind that mint would not previously have been harvested until perhaps the previous autumn. The last cut of the previous season would perhaps be September time. And then the bushes would then lie dormant through the autumn and into the winter, and then would start to grow again as the spring rains come and the weather warms and the soil warms, and then you get another first flush of growth. So then the first cut would probably come in about May, June time, which would have a lot of intensity, because if you imagine that bush has been lying dormant, and there's all that concentration of essential oils and all those juices in the leaf that haven't really been seen since the previous September. So it's got all that power and intensity, so you get quite a lot more pungency and power from that first cut. And then the later cuts would tend to be a little bit more rounded, perhaps a little bit softer, a little bit more fuller in the mouth, maybe with a touch more colour. So you get a nice combination of sort of intensity and sort of full flavour the later you go through the harvesting process to the end of the following year. The secret of peppermint is a balancing of those cuts, but also to make sure that perhaps you don't have too much stalk. So you imagine that there's long stalks, but you're only interested in that fine leaf. So if you can reduce the stalk content and take out some of the bitterness, then you concentrate on those rounded, rich, thick, menthol kind of characters. We call it creaminess, which you get purely from that leaf. Freshly boiled water. Again, peppermint and lemongrass is got a fantastic clarity to it. It's got this sort of olive green colour with absolute clarity. So a couple of spoons of the blend, brewed for 2 or 3 minutes, maybe a little bit longer if you wanted a lot more menthol to come through. And you're kind of gauging it by colour. Aroma as well is a key one here before you sieve the blend. Early on in the season, when we had some new season samples of fresh peppermint that come in, and it was amazing to smell and taste these teas because they had such richness and they almost had a buttery quality to them. They were so thick with menthol and creaminess. It was almost like tasting a confectionery sweet which was made of peppermint, which makes your senses come alive and sets your taste buds on edge. It's really fantastic. I think this range of blends typifies what Twinings as a business is about and what we as tea tasters and tea buyers are absolutely best at. It's the combination of origins, of different terroir, north and southern hemisphere, tea and herbs, which when combined together using the knowledge of the team at Twinings means that you get all the subtleties, the nuances and all the complexity that you get from the agroclimatic conditions that all these materials have been produced in. And it's the knowledge of the blender and combining some of these individual ingredients together which is making and producing some fantastic flavours all in one product. So it's the complexity of the range and the skill of the blender as much as it is the material itself, which really typifies what we as a business, what Twinings as a business is all about.